Hello everybody, this is Jeffrey GT7 and welcome to the episode. In this episode we're going to be using once again the Porsche Turbo from 1993 at Tokyo600, but this time we're going to be using its new engine swap. I've already covered an episode earlier, a couple days ago, with how the car does with the original engine swap with a lot of parts, and it did pretty well. So hopefully we can get the same result with the engine swap build. If not, let's hopefully it'll go faster. If for some reason this particular tune build does not help you out in Tokyo600, I would recommend just save the car and use it for Le Mans 700 because this car is going to be pretty quick, pretty smooth, and pretty simple to drive. So I'll be showcasing on how to get the car and of course the parts. And without any further ado, let's go. So first stage, of course, is how to get the car. Is right now in the Legends car dealership. It's going to cost you 1.2 million credits just to grab this car, and you can see it's about 550 PP points stock, and that's literally on how to get the car. You do need to save up a good bit of credits just for this car, unfortunately, just because it was that expensive, which I would recommend you do that, and trust me, it's going to feel pretty good. Now, as you can see, we went ahead and installed our wide body to the car. So the next stage, of course, is going to be the engine swap, which you can buy at GT Auto. If you're collecting level 50, I'm currently level 70, so that gives me the right to buy ultimate parts and swaps. Now, you can also do is go to your garage, check out and see if you have this particular engine in your garage. And if you do, you can just equip it. Just make sure you're in the car to do that. As you can see, this engine is going to be a pretty big buff for this car, and we'll unfortunately have to nerf it in order for it to reach the 600 pp cut line. But you can see really good stats. Everything's in the blue, so that's a good start to this engine package. Now, that's why I did say that if you want to try this with Le Mans, that would be a pretty good idea too for this particular engine swap. So hopefully you are in fact level 50. That way you automatically easily will have access to it. The livery is what I'll be using for this episode. You can go ahead and just search the hashtags if you want to, or what you can do is follow me in the game and I'll quickly show you on how that particularly works. So just make sure your car is already set to wide before you do this. If you want to follow me in the game, here are the instructions right here on screen. This is basically on how to follow either myself or other players in the game itself. Just in case if there's like a lot of liveries you like, or decals, or this, that, the other, that'd be a very easy shortcut to do that. So that way, if you see my episodes too in the future, I'll have it in my newsfeed, and you can just easily add it to your collection and add it to GT Auto, which is that paperclip right down there. So just in case if you do not want this livery but you want the parts, I'll go ahead and showcase it. I went ahead and changed the rims to these rims instead compared to what the livery had. These Oz Racing rims, just make sure you just follow the brand and the settings. For the custom parts, the front bumper is type B. For the side, it's going to be type A. For the rear bumper, it's going to be type A. The original livery did call for type B, so just make sure you just move it over to type A. That way you can just remove the rear diffuser. And then for the wing, keep it at type B. And as you guys can see through the back window glass, you do in fact need roll cage type C. And that's going to be all the parts you'll need from car customization. Move on to the last section. It's going to be the main setup. As you can see, we got ourselves our sport hard tires with fully customized differential. For our downforce, as you can see, the front is always set down to 0. The rear is at the max at 190. We did head and went and purchased some ballast. We added all that weight to the front of the car to negative 50, and we went ahead and got the power restrictor down to 88 with fully customized manual transmission set to 300 kilometers, and that's basically what you're going to do. For the other part of the list, as you see here, there's pretty much nothing back here for the other part of the list, just in case if you're curious. So just make sure you look at the front page, make sure you have everything copied down, especially for the downforce. Make sure that all those numbers are right in order for this to work. So the question is going to be, how good is this engine swap? Well, it actually is pretty decent. I'll say that it's not the best swap in the game. There's a lot of other swaps out there that can easily beat this, but comparing this to the other build we did a few episodes ago, the car actually does feel pretty good. The driving felt really smooth. The speed was pretty good as well. I would say probably the weakness for this car will have to be potentially the acceleration rate and also the fuel. I could tell the fuel itself was not nearly as much compared to the original engine, where we could actually go up to the end of lap 10. In this particular race, the fuel will be going up to the end of lap number, I think it's going to be the end of lap 6, I think, for our pit stop, or lap 7. So automatically the fuel itself is not near as good compared to the stock engine, but we're going to still do the best we can with this car, see what we can come up with. As you can see, these guys actually are pretty close to each other, and surprisingly, we have found ourselves the RX-7 Riyamiya is actually back here in 5th place. Usually around this time it's up in 2nd place, so seeing it back here is actually quite highly unusual, especially in this race. So we're going to carefully negotiate our way through the first lap. Of course, the first lap is where it has the most moisture on the track, so we got to be a little bit extra careful not to make contact with anybody here, especially being so close to the Riyamiya. And another thing I noticed too was the AI drivers were closer together than they had been in the past. So I don't like to say this, but there's possibly a potential chance that Panifly might have kept a secret from us and might have maybe made the AI a bit stronger. I think I could be wrong. It could be also the case where if the AI cars are so close to each other, they actually do race faster if they're close together, because you have one AI driver trying to defend and they'll drive a bit more aggressive and faster, and then you have the other AI driver that actually is trying to pass the other AI driver, and they too will go faster too. So I just wonder if that's what happened, or if the case is that Panifly, kept the secret under in dark, letting us know that they in fact did make the AI a bit tougher in Tokyo600, which I hope that's not the case. But as we start to lap number 2, we are right behind the GTR first turn. We're going to gain some time on the GTR, but we got to be a little bit careful. The car, despite having the rate ratio 48-52, you are going to have a little bit of oversteer in the car still, but it's not going to be not severely noticeable, but it will be a little bit noticeable, especially depending on where you're at on the track and how quickly you get back on the power of the gas. But we're going to carefully try to negotiate through these next couple of turns, hopefully for a nice clean pass on the GTR as we go through this overpass. The GTR does in fact allow itself to make an opening for us, and we're going to carefully take away that line and going to go ahead and put ourselves in P2 right about halfway up lap 2. One lap later, we have actually caught up with the Honda NSX leader. We're going to do pretty much the same thing if it's possible. We do get ourselves a nice run after that overpass. You can see that the time right there, we just gained so much. Right through here, we are going to make another good run, make a move on its left side, make a little tiny bit contact, and that's going to be the pass for the lead. And we're going to go ahead and fast forward to what's going to be essentially our lap to pit. So as we fast forward to lap number 7, this is going to be our quote lap to pit. Before that, we're going to go ahead and pretty much move our fuel map to number 4 right there, and we are going to be in this mode for the rest of the lap. And luckily for us, we did manage to save enough fuel to actually make it to pit road. Once I did realize we were safe, I did move the fuel map pack down number 1. We're going to come inside pit road, and we're going to go ahead and refill the car with fuel, and that's going to be it. And you can see from this graphic chart, we're going to be here for a little while, unfortunately, and we are going to lose the lead from the RX-7 Riyamiya. But when lap 8 approaches, that'll be the lap where the RX-7 does in fact pit. So once the end of lap 8 it completes, we will be cycled back as the race leaders. So quite a little bit of unfortunate that we really didn't get ourselves a big gap compared to the Riyamiya, but that's the way it is sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to what's going to be our last lap of the race, and this is going to be our hot lap 2. So I would recommend you guys to watch this hot lap. I'm going to leave real quick, and I'll be right back once we get to the finish of the race. Alright, so that's going to be it using the swap Porsche 911 from 93. We did finish up with a 26:26 time, which actually is slower than our stock engine build, so that's quite interesting. There's our fastest lap at the bottom of the screen right there. Other than that, the car did pretty well. Despite having more weight added to the car and not really having that good acceleration as I would like to have, still did a decently good job, but I think it'll be a good pick also for Le Mans. Gareth has that clean race bonus, and that's going to be it for the episode. So, for our next episode, we're going to be using the McLaren 650S, and of course, it's going to be using its new engine swap too. And I'm just going to be curious to see if this swap, if it's going to be faster or better than the other swap that we did with the Lexus LFA. I'd be very curious to see what this car can do with that swap. And hopefully it'll be worth it. I mean, I do know that swap is very, very expensive, but we'll just have to wait and see how it all turns out. So hopefully today's tune did in fact tip you out at GT7 at Tokyo600. And if not, I would recommend just keeping out from the Mall 700. Till then, I'll see you guys later. So that is going to be for today's episode. Hopefully this particular build has helped you out in Gran Turismo 7. If you guys have any suggestions or any other builds you want me to try out, you're more than welcome to add those to the comments below, and I'll try my best to do them. Until then, hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day, and if you guys would like to subscribe to the channel, you're more than welcome to do so as well, as I'll have some more stuff coming up in the next couple days. Until then, see you later and take care.